Ahoy everyone, Tightrope here, and today we're taking a look at the gameplay changes made in the 1.70 patch company COH3, codenamed Onyx Shark. The biggest gameplay change this patch is around the early game time to kill of infantry. They have increased the DPS of squads by around 25%, all of these early game squads, not late game units generally, just these early game ones, and they've increased the DPS by increasing the accuracy by 25% in most cases. Very few instances where they've also tweaked rate of fire, which means they don't have to do a bunch of extra work at Relic to try and rebalance the light vehicle, like ultralight vehicle, health and armor values. I'm on board with the idea behind these TTK changes because I do think the early game combat in COH3 was not how it should be. Like long range cover to cover engagements literally took like 5 minutes to play themselves out, which is just far too long. You're already in mid game by the time this happened, you know? On top of that, being in cover at the start of the fight, it didn't really feel like it mattered that much because it would be very easy for a squad to just charge into you, close the distance, take very little damage on the way in, and then win the fight thereafter, maybe putting more of a favor on run and gun style units, which is maybe where riflemen were excelling, maybe grenadiers sitting in cover style. They were just getting overrun, not very successful. I did a bunch of testing on these early game units, both before and after the patch, to try and figure out exactly what these TTK changes have done. Now, having a look at the results of this testing, I've got the before on the left, after on the right. Starting out with grenadiers versus infantry sections. I ran this engagement 6 times. Grenadiers won 5 out of 6 times at close range. This is close range here. Took an average of 54 seconds for the engagement to play itself out. Going over to the other side, now it took an average of 33 seconds for the engagement to play itself out. 62% as long as it used to take. So big reduction here in this matchup. This was the biggest shift that I saw out of any of the matchups. Maybe this one had like 2 kind of outliers. Maybe these took a long time to play themselves out. You know, I'm only doing 6 tests here. Wanted like proper, like super more accurate results. I probably have to run this like 18 times. I'm not doing that. Not doing that. Same win percentage as well. Switching over to long range. Now it took about 10 seconds faster. 95% of the time used to. So not a big change there. The one Grenadier did manage to sneak a win in this. So only 5 out of 6 compared to 6 out of 6 in the long range fight. Now going for Riflemen versus Afrika Korps Peagrens at close range. The Peagrens won 5 out of 6 in my previous test. Took an average of 47 seconds. Now switching over, Riflemen won 5 out of 6 instead. Taking an average of 44 seconds. So 94% as long as it used to take. Not a big shift in time there. But yeah, that's a bit worrying. The massive shift in the winner of the engagement. As I said, limited sample size, but still troubling to see this play out. And then switching over to long range as well. This is about 25 range away from each other. Quite a big shift in time here. 80% as long as it used to take. And again, the win percentage is completely reversing, going over to Riflemen. So it used to be Peagrens with 4 wins, now it's Riflemen with 4 wins. And worth mentioning, like, you know, Peagrens just got like a flat 25% accuracy increase at all ranges, whereas Riflemen got some different stats. They got, you know, 23% up close and mid-range, 13% long range, but they also got a cooldown buff. So I'm guessing maybe this cooldown buff is helping them like switch their wins around. And now they're actually winning this engagement when they used to be a bit on the other side of things. So now finally we've got LMG paratroopers up against Jaegers, upgraded with the recon package. So yeah, Paras won all of these all across the board. Used to take 25 seconds, now it's down to 23. So it's still like, you know, almost a 9% reduction. Nothing to sneeze at. And then, yeah, 84% now at long range. So a bit faster there. Also worth noting that, you know, paratroopers got 25% at all ranges, pretty similar to Jaegers. But they got a scope rifle buff. Paratroopers got an LMG buff. One thing that I'm hoping does not happen as a result of these TTK changes is that these mainline infantry squads from the early game become too strong in the late game and then they squeeze out elites from viability. I really like the diversity of the infantry game in COH3 compared to COH2 up until this point, and I'm really hoping we don't go down that path again. Another thing that I was thinking about related to these TTK changes is that now these close range accuracy values of a lot of these like bolt action or semi-auto rifles are really, really high. And how's that going to impact things when you start stacking like accuracy bonuses on top of that, maybe from like veterancy or abilities? You're going to be going above 100% chance to hit in a lot of scenarios. So you're going to be like wasting damage in a lot of these situations. Like take the paratrooper here, for example, 0.825 at close range. I don't know where its veterancy bonuses are because you can't see those. But say you got like a 30% accuracy bonus, you're above 100% chance to hit at close range. So you're kind of like wasting some DPS. That 30% accuracy bonus is no longer giving you 30% more DPS. So yeah, you're wasting damage at close. And of course, like cover at that range is not going to be a thing because you're going to be so close to them, it's going to negate the cover, unless it's against the garrison. Similar story, if you're up against a team weapons have 1.33 target size. So now if you stack that on top of this, now you've got a 142% chance to land on a team weapon at close range with your paratrooper. So yeah, you're going to be wasting DPS against team weapons at close quarters as well. So yeah, I do wonder what's going on with this because I don't know if this is like uncharted territory. And yeah, you're probably not going to be getting the full benefit from a lot of these like accuracy boosting abilities anymore in close quarters with bolt actions and semi-autos. So after the TTK changes, obviously being in cover is going to be a lot more important, and thus denying cover to your opponent is also going to be a lot more important. So they've made it so you can target and kill things like sandbags and tank traps. Previously you couldn't interact with them at all, you'd have to like attack ground, but we got lucky, but now you can target them. I'll see how long it takes for an AT gun to kill off the sandbag here. That's not bad, not a good sign. They say they also decreased the armor of sandbags to 25, so they can take a little bit of small arms damage, especially if you've got like a MG. Oh my goodness. Took 3 shots to land a hit. What's the target size on these sandbags? Like, I could imagine this being quite tedious. We're at about 45-ish range. We're not that far away from it either. It's not like we're absolute max range. It takes 6 shots to... No. Yeah, 6 shots to kill off one sandbag. It looks like 1 shot scattered into the next door sandbag. It's just going to be a lot more annoying than in Code 2 killing that off. We'll try a tank trap now. It's the one that you put as DAC if you got the defensive operations. Oh wow, weird scatter. Spreading the damage around. Definitely not as consistent killing this off as it was in Code 2. With the AT gun at least. And AT guns have got a lot of accuracy in this game as well. They've also added a new type of tank trap for Brits. Here it is. Looks like just a big old slab of rock. And yeah, Royal Engineers will have access to build it. This is what it looks like over here. Sticking with the construction theme, if your unit is constructing something like sandbags or bunkers, now there's a new penalty, and they will take 50% more damage while they're constructing. So they will die much, much quicker than they used to. That's pretty quick against the Grenadiers here. My engineers are going down. Resource caches have a new upgrade. You can give them the ability to become a forward retreat point for 150 manpower, and it takes 45 seconds, which is quite a long time for the upgrade to complete. So alongside of this, the captain has had his forward retreat point ability, Rally to Me, stripped away from him, since you can get it from this now. And yeah, captain's really so good in the first place. Might as well. It's also worth noting that, speed this up here, instant complete. Engage it, see what it looks like. So that's what it looks like when it's engaged. I'll retreat to it now. As you can see, I don't have any reinforce from it. So it's not like an all-in-one solution, like say you get with the frontline medical station or something like that from a battle group. You're going to need to bring your own way to heal up and reinforce your units on top of the forward retreat, such as a half-track. The way that minesweeping looks has changed, as you can or perhaps can't even see. Got a telemine down here, which is extremely hard to spot on this kind of terrain, and a shoe mine right next to that. Anyway, we're going to switch this over to enemy. And now you can see there's this big disabled sign above the mine when it's been detected by a sweeper. Sweeper, I think they've got 25 detection range on mines, and after they run out of range, I think the mine stays detected and disabled like this for 10 seconds. But yeah, even once you have detected this, like look how hard it is to see the telemine on this terrain nonetheless. So I can understand why they've done this, because I agree, these mines are too hard. Like, even these mines, once you've detected them on dark maps like Pacino Stalemate, they are extremely hard to see, even once you've spotted them with the sweeper. So, spotted them with the sweeper, yeah, you might not have even seen them. So yeah, you know, it's a bit obvious, but they did need to do something. I was hoping maybe they'd just make them more prominent, easier to see, but this is a fine enough system. I will also say that, you know, this is a shoe mine up here, and this is an M1 mine down here. These are extremely hard to tell apart. So, like on replays, when there's a mine on the ground, and they look this similar, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know whose mine it is, and because of the replay system, like, it's hard for me to select it. It would be nice if they could maybe make the mines a bit more distinctive instead of just 4 things all in the exact same pattern. Maybe make it like some 3-prong mines like we saw from the Allies and Company of Heroes 2. The Brits and USF had those 3-prong mines. They look more distinctive. Soviets had those like smaller square mines. Make the mines look a bit more distinctive to make it easier to view on replays. Demolition charges have gone through a huge number of changes in this patch. First off, they've standardized the cost and plant time across all the different units, except for the commandos. They've got a unique demo charge. We'll have a look at that later on. But yeah, 50, same plant time for everybody now. They've also fixed a load of bugs. There used to be heaps of issues if you like cancel them partway through and whatnot. Those have all been fixed. So there's an enemy demolition charge planted down here, and I'm going to run forward with my squad.
Come on, we ain't got all day. Stop right there.
Once I'm about this far away from it, what's that, like 15 range, I would guess? It gets spotted. An alert comes up here, and it's detected. Notice that if I like attack move forwards, I don't auto attack it. So that's kind of interesting. You'll spot it, but you won't be able to like auto attack it to kill it. But yeah, you can attack it now and take no casualties. So easy to do. Much easier to handle demo charges now. You don't have to be running around everywhere with a minesweeper. However, there is still an advantage for using sweepers against demolition charges. I believe they have a 10 extra detection range, so spot them from a lot further out. And you can see now it says disabled above the demolition charge, whereas before no disabled, they'll just be spotted. And this is my demo charge, and I cannot trigger it. See, I can't, there's no fuse, there's no button to push to trigger it. So when a sweeper detects a demo charge, it cannot explode. The exception to all of this is the SSF Commando's Vet 1 ability, Hidden Demo Charge. Costs 25 munitions more to plant, and as you can see here, enemy unit standing right on top of it cannot see it. You need a sweeper up against the hidden demo charge of SSF Commandos. Not Brit Commandos though, they just get the normal one. On the other side of all of these changes, they've actually made demo charges even more deadly now by increasing the AoE. So I'm going to test that out here. I've got a Gurkha squad, pretty healthy unit, this time fully out in the open, see what the demo charge does against them. So yeah, solid, but still the models towards the edge. Oh, they actually took a little bit of damage actually, wow. So yeah, much bigger. And now I've got 2 squads clumped up on cover. Usually beforehand it was only possible to wipe a squad if they were like mega clumped up on cover. You usually plant them on sandbags like this. You'd only catch 1 squad. We'll see what it does now. 2 Gurkhas, this one kind of spaced on the left hand side, this one on the right. Yeah, it's going to be quite a lot more deadly now. You won't have to be quite as finessed with your placement. You might be able to just like plant it on light cover somewhere. Hope the opponent doesn't see it. And get some pretty good kills and wipes on enemy squads. 2 more things related to demo charges. You can see I've got 2 of them planted down here. But if I open up tactical map, they are no longer on tactical map, so you won't accidentally misclick them, which I've done many a time on the tactical map. They also mentioned that you need direct line of sight to reveal demo charges. So I've hidden a demo charge back here, and then I'm going to run a squad up this hill, and because the demo charge is hidden behind the building, I should not be able to see it. But look at this. Demo charge spotted. If I click on this, it's detected. Even though I don't have direct line of sight, you know, I've come up this side, demo charge is on the other side of the building. I'll come forwards now and reveal it with my scout. There it is, revealed behind the building. I don't have direct line of sight on it. Well, I didn't, and the alert gave it away. So if you're like me, and you don't play with alerts because It's just too much visual clutter for me. Like if I could get like a concentrated feed of just like mine detectors and stuff, I would. But with all the other like squad spotter and stuff, it's just too annoying for me, so I turn them off. But you're playing with a pretty major handicap in that situation because people will be able to hide demo charges on other sides of buildings against you. Related to this, there was also a bug fix that mentioned that stealth camouflage detection should respect most line of sight blockers. So there's an enemy sniper here hidden on this light cover behind the wall. So I'm going to run my engineer in here. At least on this occasion there's no like alert like there was for the demo charge, so that's good. But then I'm going to run my observers in here because I've got some nice long line of sight. And I can see the sniper even though these guys don't have direct line of sight. And if I like teleport them away, go straight away into hiding again. So it's not like it's been detected from over there, it's being detected through here, through the sight blocker. I'm not sure exactly what they've managed to do here with this fix, but it doesn't seem to be functioning entirely correctly. They've also added a bunch of new icons. As you can see, the Afrika Korps Panzergrenadiers are now very distinctive from the Wehrmacht Panzergrenadiers, so especially in team games playing against them, you won't be nearly as confused anymore. So that's really good. On top of that, you can see the combined arms buff has also had a redesign. And it's the same with a lot of buffs. They've got much more distinctive icons, which is really good if you're playing against a player, instead of it being like one of potentially like 5 buffs. At just a glance, you can tell, okay, that's combined arms. I know what's happening. They are changing the way that infantry speed buffs have been handled. I think we've all seen the clips, mainly of like rangers with cover to cover, designated assault position, maybe captain flanking maneuver, just running around twice as fast as a tank, charging head on through machine guns and not getting suppressed. Not pretty stuff if you're on the receiving end of it. Quite irritating and comically fast. You know, they're running like literally way faster than a tank can move. It's not really sensible. So what they're doing here is they're kind of negating it so you can only get one infantry-based buff at a time and one global-based buff at a time. So for instance, I've got Riflemen with their Vet 1 Sprint. That will not stack with the Captain's flanking maneuver. But the Rifleman's Sprint will stack with Designate Assault Position. So we'll see how this goes. I've got this Rifleman running across here. Pop Sprint.
Captain here. What have you got?
Pop this buff on top of them. Don't notice any change to their speed there.
We're up. All right.
Then afterwards they're still running faster.
Get to it. We're locked. All right, boys.
So maybe there's like a mild point in stacking your buffs just because this Captain's flanking maneuver does last a pretty long time. But yeah, you're not going to be hitting like turbo boost crazy way faster than tank speeds anymore. So now we're going to try this out with the Rangers cover to cover. Going to exit cover.
Up to it, ladies. What have you got? Contact. Get down.
Speed buff.
Counting on you.
And yeah, Captain Speed buff doing absolutely nothing for them there, above and beyond what the cover to cover was already doing. Tank riding has been retuned basically to be much faster in terms of loading and unloading, which is nice because it's a pretty cool feature but barely used at all in my games or in any games that I see. So let's see how it gets on here. Going to start with a 3 model squad, go all the way up to the full banana 6-man.
Clamber on the back. Look alive, boys. We're up.
Pack those weapons. Orders coming in.
We've been given a purpose, boys. We need to park it over there, man. Sherman, rev up that engine, boys. We're moving.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't notice much of a difference between a 3-man squad and a 6-man squad. It almost looked like that last 6-man rifle got on faster than the scout. I'm not sure if that's true. Now let's have a look at the unloading time. Click the button. Just
Well, that was fun.
yeah, they almost like just teleport off. They jump off so quickly. Was it? It's been so long. I'm not that well versed in tank riding, but I'm not sure about that unloading.
Good. Was starting to feel a little
Kind of just like
exposed.
teleport off. Did they used to like jump off more gently?
All right, you dopes. Off you go.
Not sure. Either way, you get off it way faster. So in terms of like playing, this loading and unloading
Good.
is very, very usable now. Now we'll see how it goes compared to loading into a half track. So I'm going to do this from the tactical pause menu.
Let's tackle the Germans.
Might have even been slightly faster than loading into a troop transport that's dedicated for this task. Another cool mechanic that has been bogged down by issues up until this point is towing, and they've given it some love in this patch, which is nice to see. I think we've seen issues in the past. You know, sometimes it'll be very slow to latch on, transport would do donuts before latching on, or sometimes it would even get stuck for like 30 seconds, be completely unresponsive, which would often mean you would lose the unit. So yeah, they mentioned in the notes they've made it so work better on difficult terrain situations. They've also increased the rotation rate of the towing vehicle while it's doing the towing maneuver. So it's nice, it'll feel a bit more responsive thanks to that. And in certain situations where it's just taking far too long, they'll just allow units to teleport inside of the transport. So let's see how we get on with it here. I've got a few difficult towing situations lined up. Transport facing the wrong direction. Yeah, you see a bit of a teleport there. And the gun is kind of underneath my transport. At least it was like relatively fast and get completely stuck. Let's try this now. Dingo on this. Alright. Let's try here. I think the hitching point's on this side. Oh yeah, that one was quite fast. Again, they seem to like kind of teleport in. That one didn't even seem to take that long either. So the teleport in timer is quite forgiving. See if we can try this again. Sometimes it looks a little bit strange after it's hitched up. One of the issues that was present in the game, which I showed in my latest micro tips video, is that when unit icons were overlapping each other like this, it was often very hard to select the unit underneath because the top icon was kind of overflowing its visual area. But now, as you can see, as soon as I'm off that top one, I can select the unit underneath so much easier than before. I used to have to come like all the way out to here to avoid the overlap issue. So yeah, they've made a bug fix here. The icons or decorators no longer, the targetable area no longer massively overflows their visual area. Another really impactful bug fix, it used to be the case that when I gave like a right click command to this squad that's further away because I wanted to kill them, but then hit stop after that, would completely forget about that attack command that I gave, and then it would go through the auto attack priority system and attack whatever was closest to me in this case. This squad here is closer, so it's a higher priority target. And that was really frustrating. But now, if I give a right-click command to this squad, then hit stop, it keeps attacking that squad, just like I ordered it to. And this is important because say if I right-click the squad, and then they run behind a blocker, but I still have vision of them, my squad will try to chase them around the corner, running out of cover, and this can be disastrous, this can lose you engagements. So this is why you want to hit stop after giving an attack command, so your squad doesn't run out of cover. It's quite important for vehicle fights as well. Here's how this bug used to manifest itself in vehicle play as well. So I've got my Hellcat here, I want to kill this 250, maybe it's like one shot from death, but I don't feel safe chasing it any further. I've given it a right click command to target it in the past, but now I hit stop because I don't feel safe chasing. This would then reset the attack priority, and instead of shooting the next shot at the 250, because this is so low armor, instead it would reset the attack priority to this, because the high armor of the Panzer III matches up well with the high penetration of the Hellcat, and it would reset the attack priority. So instead of shooting at you what you wanted and killing this, you would shoot at something else. And, you know, didn't have to be this extreme in the example. This would happen all the time in vehicle fights. Hitting stop because you wanted to stop movement would also stop you attacking what you wanted to. But that should no longer be the case. So now we'll test this out. I'll drive forwards here. Right click this. I'm going to hit stop. In the past, this will switch over to the P3. But now it keeps on what I right click targeted it to go for. Really, really important. This is so important for vehicle micro. Howitzer emplacements and the Canoni have had their angle scatter buffed. That's how far it goes from side to side rather than front to back. It's been narrowed down now, so it should find the target more often. Going to try this out with the BL 5.5 now, firing at around 200 range, a bunch of Wehrmacht units. This is inside its max range of around 300, because the BL 5.5 also got more shells this patch as well. I think it fires 7 shells instead of 4. One of the issues with the BL 5.5 is Takes quite a long time between each shell, so it can be pretty easy to vacate the area after it begins to fire and lands that first shot. We do have vision as well. Like, having vision of the area also decreases scatter, worth mentioning. And to the fog of war, I think it's like 25% more scatter penalty, something like that. Maybe it's even 50%, can't remember. See, we're firing a lot of shells now, so this BL 5.5 is going to be a lot better at sieging down like big stacks of bunkers. Both, with the extra shells and the reduced scatter actually hitting what you intend to. Standard mortars, things like the 3-inch for the Brits, M1 for USF, JW34 for Wehrmacht, or the mortar half-track for Afrika Korps. They have had their auto-fire, rate of fire, and scatter nerfed. So they'll be shooting less frequently when on auto-fire, not barrage. Barrage is untouched. And, quite often the shells will be less on target than they used to be. Which I think makes sense because, with the time to kill changes, units are going to want to sit in cover more often. So it makes sense to make scatter, auto-fire a little bit weaker in those kind of scenarios. One thing that didn't get touched, though, are the other forms of light artillery, like the LEIG, heavy mortar for Brits, and the M1 Packowie for Brits or for USF. And I think especially the LEIG has kind of been overperforming it recently. So I want to do a bit of a auto-fire race between these. Got the Brit mortar on this side, and I'm just going to attack ground at a certain distance. We want to see the different rate of fire between all of these pieces of indirect fire. Here we go. You can see obviously these shells have a much lower trajectory from these weapons. Seems like now the regular mortar and the heavy mortar seem to have pretty similar auto-fire rate. LIG has fired, I think, 3 shells in the time that these other two have fired only 2. The auto-fire rate on the LIG is like stunningly fast. So yeah, I think maybe the LIG might be due for a nerf, and it's not like Afrika Korps need for it to be like crazy broken, right? They've got the mortar half-tracks, they've got the walking Stuka, they have other indirect fire options. They don't need the LAG to be so strong, in my opinion. They have reworked the veterancy bonuses on team weapons. They've replaced the received accuracy bonuses that they used to get as they vetted up with flat health instead, or a Vet 3 received damage bonuses. So this should make them more resilient against explosives, but potentially, at least for those first 2 stages, less resilient against small arms fire. We don't know what the bonuses were before this. This affects all team weapons, mortars, Vickers, machine guns, flak, even though the flak hasn't been updated in its description yet. So yeah, on top of this, machine guns have also had their veterancy requirements reduced across the board. And it seems like at the moment, they're kind of standardizing all weapons of the same type to have the exact same veterancy, like excluding their Vet 1 bonuses. All of their stat gains from vetting up are identical, which is a pretty big departure from COH3, where there are a lot more unique stat bonuses. Certain things might get more penetration or more accuracy, but it's not really the case in COH3. Everything's been standardized, and I think they want to focus more attention on the abilities rather than with stat differences. There has been some more work done to pathfinding. I think what Devin was saying during the developer stream about this is that now when a vehicle approaches the corner, it will start turning earlier and get around the corner faster. Whereas previously it would drive right to the edge of the corner, then do a kind of almost a pivoting turn and then drive through. So it should be faster getting around, especially sharp corners. Very important for ultralight vehicles that can't crush stuff, but even tanks going around corners, they're quite sharp like buildings. Should be quite a lot faster. You can just see it like that. And I've got some before and afters for you as well.
Understood. Archer will be back in your seat. Relocating. I want your weapon inspection as we move.
deflection damage has been nerfed. If you don't know what deflection damage is, with these vehicles, these ones that have these slow arcing projectiles, when they landed on an enemy tank and they failed to penetrate, they would still do 50% of their damage, but now that's been reduced to 25%. So yeah, probably due, I mean, I think Bulldozer was okay with it. The Boombear seemed to be the outlier, because it would do like really well against things like the Matilda in the head-to-head because of its really high deflection damage. These two don't see too much play, honestly. And yeah, at 25%, I don't think it's going to be like very impactful deflection damage anymore. Maybe they could have nerfed it to like 34%. But whatever, we're splitting hairs. Deflection damage has been nerfed. Having a look at the new 4v4 map, Black Gold. Starting out with the resource layout first off. And we've got 6 low fuel points and 1 medium fuel here in the middle. So that means a total of 40 fuel per minute on the map, which is on the low side. Quite a few other maps have 45 or 50 as a reference. On top of this, we've got 2 low muni points, 7 medium muni points, and 1 high muni point here in the center. So that's a total of 96 muni per minute, which is a lot. Lots of munis on this map. For example, a lot of other maps have about 80 for comparison. So yeah, a lot of munis on this map. You're going to be able to spam muni abilities. Having a look at the sector layout itself, you can see we've got these like cut-off strategic points on the side, cutting off a lot of resources here in the middle. Don't have a lot of like safe fuel on this map. Like you might even struggle to hold on to this and this. So you've got like 10 safe fuel, and then the rest is going to be pretty heavily contested. So I could imagine this being like a relatively low fuel map. As a result of this, got some strategic points on this side as well, but you can also be connected through the high muni point. So I imagine this centralized high muni point is going to be a very hotly contested area. So let's have a look around the rest of the map. Got a bit of like maybe a dawn desert setting to this one. Looks really nice. Semi-industrial type area. Nice dunes. Nice low area. Lots of sandbags around this VP. That could be interesting. Kind of reminds me of steps having these kind of raised areas off to the side. Bit of an abandoned kind of camp up the top there. The railway tracks. It's kind of the theme of this. We've got a big like refinery kind of area. The train shipping areas going into it. Here's the start of the industrial area out on the right hand side of the map. Pretty big throughout here. Big crane. Nice and aesthetically pleasing. Few buildings to do some cover to cover fighting across. Yeah, art-wise looks really nice. Hope you guys enjoyed playing on it. Now that I've covered all of that, we can see that this Onyx Shark patch had a lot of very significant gameplay changes added into it. The most significant being that early TTK change. Should spice up the early game quite a lot. I'm excited to try that out. But yeah, a lot more changes beside that. It was 4 months since the last patch, so I suppose they did have quite a lot of time to work on it. But yeah, I'm happy for the freshen up. Looking forward to getting some games. And I'll do one more video covering a few more of the balance changes. As always, a huge thank you goes out to my Patreon backers. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider coming on board.